Mechanic here. Seem to be having a few slight technical issues. I've recently upgraded my little recording and studio setup, so I hope everything sounds alright, and I hope everyone can hear me. I've got a new microphone that is considerably better than my old one. So yeah, I'm hoping everything can be seen and heard properly. But right now, I played the volume through my computer, so I clicked the wrong thing while changing some settings. Right, so welcome back. I'm Dread Mechanic. This is part 12 of my building tiny mech drones stream series. We've gone through quite a few different things. I've binned some off, I've kept some, I've published some on Steam and Mod.io. I intend to do the rest of them at some point soon, but I'm a little bit scatterbrained and I have more ideas than I have free time. And I've learnt the long and hard way, it is easier and better in the long run to get the ideas out of your head while you've got them, because you might forget about them later on, or you might come back to them further down the line and can't remember what you wanted to do. So today I wanted to try and build some kind of small wheeled drone, and not a skimmer, something that actually uses its wheels to drive around, but is AI controlled. And I have done things like this before, but on a much larger scale, like the size of tanks and Gundams and things like that. But I want to try and do a little tiny wheeled drone. Something maybe smaller than the dogs, if I can get away with it. Something about the size of the pigs. Something small, and something that can drive around is what I would like to do. So, for a start, I'm gonna steal, not that colour scheme, that one. That rocket dog. So, first things first, for our tiny wheeled drone, is we're gonna need some tiny wheels. I'm curious. Could I make it? Try and make it 2 blocks wide? Try and make it real tiny? I'll give it a go. That seems a little close, that seems like it'd be a bit top heavy and tip over and all that. So, I'm building an AI mech drone, I need a way for it to control the wheels and drive forward and backward. So, thinking, for now, until my idea proves catastrophic, smashes itself to pieces, I'm going to try starting with round. We're going to need a way for the AI to drive the wheels, and AI blocks can't drive wheels, as we all know, they can only drive thrusters. But what? Set up a little drone with sensors, or we could even try and set up the thrusters to control the wheels. Have a look at that in the next picture. Oh, is my internet connection being all over the place again? Oh, my internet, please behave yourself. Oh, for God's sake. Right, give me one moment. I might have to swap my internet connection over. I'm currently getting between 13 megabytes a second and 0 megabytes a second. It's spiking all over the place. Fine. Give me a moment. Oh, bloody internet connection in this house. You have to decide whether it wants to work actually, or whether it wants to be cut. Right, let's swap over to my internet connection. I mean, the signal might be alright, but there's lots of red lights. Good. Drop frames. Successfully connected. Stable connection. There we go. I don't know how the hell a 4G phone network connection can be more stable than a hardwired landline connection. But it is. Apparently, the internet in my house is that shit. So, carry on. With a more stable connection. Yeah, everything's green now. No frames being dropped. Ugh. Bloody internet. Right, so. Got a bunch of wheels, and the very, very basic thing we'll need is 2 timers to control the wheels. If I could spell drive, that would be handy. So, drive in reverse. And drive forward. Oh, that's the wrong button. And we've done the classic thing that I do every single time. And I always forget to give it some power. So let's just stick that on there. And a little bit of uranium. There you go. Had the wheels kick into action then. Right, so everything's alive. Everything is switched on. So we can have suspension FL01, and we will give it 100 strength. 60 power is fine. Steering we might not need. I don't want it to go too fast. And we'll copy all of that. Rear left. That can be front right. And that can be rear right. And to be honest, we should probably put some kind of little interface on it so I can actually play with stuff. Where is the old school? There it is. I do still like the old school programmable blocks. Oh, very pretty. Right, so these suspensions. Actually, you know what? It probably would be easier if I just stuck a control seat on the back of it, because then I can see things in third person mode, and I can use spectator mode a little easier as well. So we've got all of these suspensions. Now, with suspensions, they are set up in a very similar manner to rotors, in that increasing their propulsion is like increasing the RPM on a rotor. And it's got a forward, it's got a backward, it has a positive, it has a negative. So if we give it 0.00005, maybe that's too many zeros. That one, there you go. Now you can see that spinning forward. Now we do the same thing with the other wheel and give it 0.1234. Maybe that's too many zeros. Yeah, it's 3 in it. You can see it's spinning backwards. And that's because they, even though they're left and right side wheels, they all still work the same way. They all still spin in the same direction. It's the actual control seat that determines which ones are left and right, or a remote control block. Which is why we can use the invert propulsion option, and you'll see that wheel is now slowing down, and then it'll start to spin in the other direction. So now we can just use increased propulsion to make it drive forward, and reverse propulsion to make it drive in reverse. We do that with all the wheels now. Well, we do that with those two front wheels. Is that crashing? That's somebody exploding. Nah, whatever. So, yeah. Right side wheels, if you want to make your life easier, and you're doing everything manually, click the old invert propulsion button. It'll make your life a bit simpler. Otherwise, if you want to manually control things, you have to account for the fact that the right side wheel will be in reverse, and then you have to use reverse controls, and just click that button. It makes life easier. So, what we can do is we can have a timer that increases the propulsion override. So, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, we can either do this where it repeats that command on every slot through the timer, and that will specifically get us up to 50%, I think. Because I think each time it triggers, it increases by... oh no, it increases by 10%. So we could do 10. Oh, that goes to 10%, and that's better. I thought it was 5. So if we trigger that again, that'll make them go faster. Yeah, they're now up to 20%. And you get 10 slots in a timer, so we can do that 10 times for each one, and we can very specifically control how much propulsion override we want. Or you could just have that and then get this timer to trigger itself, so that when you trigger it, it'll go straight up to 100. But that can cause a few issues further down the line. I prefer, when possible, to do it the long, boring way. Because that way you can be more certain of what you're controlling. And it will ultimately cause less conflict with other stuff down the line. And it's a bit boring doing it one command at a time. But if you want things to run smoothly, it's the best way of doing it. Oh my god, my internet connection will not sort itself out today, will it? Come on, internet, behave, please. Right, so where were we? Increase propulsion. Increase and increase. I'll have to do this so many damn times, but it's totally worth it. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Where are we? We're nearly at the end of this one anyway. Otherwise, if you left it with the trigger command in there, you would have to make more complicated controls to turn it off. This way, we can just play each timer once, or trigger each time once, and we don't have to worry about turning it off to stop the two cycles conflicting with each other. 1, 2, 3, 4, There we go. So that'll do that. That will run all of them through. So we can reset that propulsion. We can go to drive forward. Trigger it now. And off it goes at full pelt. And then we need to make a drive reverse, which is exactly the same, just the opposite way around. So we are to decrease all of the propulsion on all of these. Oh, hey Bipolar, what's up, man? How you doing, dude? I'm hoping everyone can hear and see me properly. I've got a slightly new setup. I've got a new microphone, but doing a bit of testing, sounds a lot better than the cheap headset I was using. But, you can do as many tests as you like, and then you can live trial it and it all goes wrong. So I'm hoping everyone can hear me properly. So we're going to decrease the propulsion on all of these. And then that, because that's currently at 100%, triggering this should just get it to stop. Which is ultimately not what we want, so we're going to have to make a... Actually, we might not have to make a stop timer. I am building a little wheeled drone thing. Someone mentioned in one of my streams the other day about building an R2 unit or something like that. And the idea kind of stuck in my head, and I wanted to make like a tiny little, like, sort of R2 unit inspired, like, little drone that might have guns attached. I'm not sure yet. I just want to try and make a tiny little drone with wheels that can, at least for now, follow me around. And then once I've achieved that, I can think about building some guns for him. So triggering that has... There you go, that set all those suspensions to 0 propulsion, and now they're just free spinning. There you go, and they'll all come to, well, slowly all come to a stop. So... Oh, have you done an R2 droid? Have you? I will have. Have you got a Steam link or anything like that to it? Because I'll forget otherwise. If you send us a link to it, or leave a link in the comments on this stream, I'll definitely see it. Because I'm so scatterbrained, I forget things that people just tell me. So yeah, leave us a link to it if you've got it, and I'll definitely have a look. Right, so that's going to be like that. So I need some kind of way to automate that turning on and off, because I want it to be able to drive forwards and reverse away from me. So what we need is a couple of sensors, what I usually use. We could stick maybe one there for now, and that can be drive sensor forward. And that can be drive sensor reverse. And we will quickly get the button. There we go. We got, yeah. Ah, yeah, there we go. Massive sensor range. Let's shrink both of them down. We don't need it to be that big right now. So, we've got the front sensor there. And let's turn that one on as well. So, that's reverse sensor. I want to have that. What have you? Sorry, Bible. Have you sent us a friend request on Steam or something? If you have, let us know what your name is, because occasionally I get randoms trying to add me, and I don't really accept unless I know who it is. So if your Steam profile is different to this one, just let us know what it is, and I'll accept. Oh, you've done a droidy Darth Vader, nice. Right, so that reverse sensor, I don't want that to be quite as far out, so Discord couldn't find you on Steam. Oh, I'm definitely on Steam. My profile was set to private for a long time, and I'm not sure why. Because a few other people mentioned they couldn't add me on Steam. It's now set to not private, so you should be able to add me on Steam now. So yeah, so I'll have the reverse one closer than the drive forward one. So the drive sensor, drive forward, when that detects players, yeah, I'll just leave it on set on to detect players now. When that detects players, that will right, this is where I need to make a little group for these suspensions. I'll just make a little group like that for now. We can rename it and rebuild it later. You still Bipolar Gaming on Steam? I'll have a look for you in a bit. If your name is the same. Drive sensor. We will stick that on. Drive sensor forward. When you tried to give me. Wait, what? Huh? You tried giving me your Steam friend code like 5 times now. Have you? I'm not sure how Steam friend codes and all that work properly. Don't have many people on Steam, to be honest. I'll send us it again then. Maybe I've been an idiot and missed something. Yeah, but anyway, what were we doing? Right, so, drive sensor. When that detects something, I want it to reset these wheels and their propulsion override, so that'll make them stop. And then when it stops detecting something on that sensor, it can drive forward again. And with the reverse one, it's going to be slightly different. When the reverse sensor detects something, it will kick into reverse. And when it stops detecting something, it will reset the propulsion on the wheels. Go to friends list, click add friend. Alright, I'll have a look at that afterwards. In fact, can I do it now? The invites. I have one pending invite from someone called Now Tamori. And I can't see any other codes or requests or things like that. But yeah, I'll do that in a bit then. If your name's the same, I'll go and click on you and... Oh, that's your number. Yeah, I copy and paste that on the chat. And there are no users that match your search. I copied that number from. Copy that number. For it. It says no users by that number. Steam is being a dick. No. Alright, well I'll try looking at that again properly later. But I've tried. Steam's being a dick right now. Right, so these sensors are set up. So if I activate this one, turns slightly green, does nothing, step out the way. The wheels kick into action. If I get in the way again, they stop. And then, if I get out the way, they all stop. If I trigger that one, they go into reverse. If I trigger both, it stops. There you go. So that is like the basics of making a little wheeled drone go back and forth. Although the wheels will constantly spin if there's nothing in the way of it, but that is the basics. Right, so let's take those sensors and widen them a bit. Because that kind of configuration isn't really going to do a lot. So let's see. We'll do the forward one first because they're about half a metre apart. So left, we'll do 1 metre. Right, we'll do 1.5. I think. Yeah, the small blocks are half a metre wide, so 1.5 and 1.5, or 1 and 1.5. A decent little distance. To be honest, I'll keep it up above the ground like that for now, so it's got a little bit of clearance. So the other side can be 1.5, 1, I think. Yeah, there we go. So they're now overlapping each other at the back. Now we can raise them both up. Say 2 meters for now. I don't really want this thing to be taller than 2 meters. And that is the basic little, like, sensor field now for making it stop, making it reverse, making it stop, making it drive forward. I'm just going to do a little test to see how well that idea is working, although he's got no battery power right now. Although he is rolling, which is a good start. So we'll put... I'll just slap a little battery on him for now. Oh, and he's off. Jesus. Oh, he's quick. And there you go. That makes him stop. That makes him reverse. But he clearly needs a little bit more mass, because he's currently like a little race car, and he's a bit too quick. But that's the general idea. Stop, reverse, stop, forward. So yeah, he needs more mass, and he needs his wheels turning down a bit, because 25 meters a second is making him do backflips. Yeah, bipolar, that's exactly what I did. I copied and pasted the number you left in the chat, I dropped it into the thing below my number, and then when I hit enter, it went, could not find user. Steam is being a knob. But I'll manually search for your name later and do it that way. Like, I don't trust all those Steam code things to work 100% of the time, because it clearly hasn't. I'll just do it the hard way in a bit. So, let's make those suspensions a little less quick. Let's make it 5 meters a second. Right, so we know that basically works. So that is his ability to drive forward and backwards, more or less sorted. The next thing we will need is AI control, I reckon. Let's slap some AI control in there. So we will need a remote block if I want to control them in any way, and we will need a AI flight block. Oh, and the fact that those colours are that way round still drives me mad. Why would left ever be red? Red is right. Stage colours, blue's left, red's right. We're gonna use green, make green left for God's sake. Doesn't make any sense. Anyway, right, so that'll be those controls. And then I would want a combat block so we can go and shoot stuff. And I would want a task block so it can follow me, or follow the thing. So, set that AI block, move collision off, AI on, speed limit. That isn't really going to make a difference because the AI block is not going to be controlling the speed right now. It's going to be the sensor. None of that, because I don't want it tipping over. And task block, follow me, doesn't really matter, 10 meters. In fact, follow me 5 meters, because we've not got a long range on those sensors. Yeah, I'm not sure why it wasn't letting me send you that friend request thing. Steam's just a dick sometimes, because I double check, I am online, I'm invisible, I'm not away, any of that stuff, and it still wouldn't let me, so I'll do it the hard way later. Because I could do with adding more friends on Steam, to be honest. I literally have like 5 people. 3 of them I know in real life, and 2 of them I don't. So I'm a bit of a reclusive weirdo sometimes. Basic task block, follow me, 5 meters, AI on, light block, right. So you've got AI, you've got that. Let's also stick a, which way around is that? Small battery and a right, so we've got that, and then we're going to have a little tiny reactor for a bit of power. Stick that in there for now. Right, cool. Who just clanged into something? Who exploded? occasionally some of these mechs do actually explode, so it does concern me occasionally. Oh god, there we go. Oh no. You just collided something and got twatted out of the air, didn't you? At least you haven't blown to pieces. Right. You can go back in your cradle as well, because you keep crashing into stuff, and I've obviously messed up your path, so... D. Rocket 1. Come on, come back. Where are you? Oh, there you are. Well, I have been playing around with setting these guys up with return mechanics, so that they, yeah, just about land in their cradle and lock back in. These two work really well. The other two, I need to refine their pathing a little bit. But those two work pretty well. Right, so we will continue with this. Right, so you've got power, you've got control, you've got some bits and pieces. I've slowed your wheels down, hopefully, so let's see what happens when we cut you down. Oh, damn. That AI block ain't gonna get very far without a gyroscope, is it? Gyro, right. So you're gonna need at least one of them, aren't you? Yeah, I'll just put it on there for now. No, put it on backwards. Right, let's give that a test. Oh, there you go, he's already trying to turn towards me, that's a good sign. Flip him over. There he goes. Right, so I go over here. Now, that's the problem. Because of the spread of his wheels, he is wider than he is long. And because of the friction on them, he is struggling to turn around. It's 50% on something that small is actually quite a lot. So if we turn that down to 25 and give him full power, right like that. Let's see how well that works. Yeah, so he's trying to turn towards me, so he's got enough gyroscope for now. So the gyro shouldn't be an issue. Come on, bounce to the floor please, there we go. Still a little bit too much friction maybe? Oh, he's trying, he's trying. Yeah, his wheel spread's a bit much. And his friction might be a bit much. But there you go, he's turned around, he's done a 180, he got there in the end. We might give him a little bit more speed. We might even need another gyro on him. So let's see how another gyroscope responds. Oh, obviously. I've given him reverse controls. Let's stick another gyro on him. How well do you turn then? Even with two, the friction on those wheels and the spread of them, still quite strong, isn't it? He does kind of get there eventually. Okay. Let's try. Well, I reckon he definitely could do with another gyroscope, so I'll give him at least one more gyroscope. Anyway. That suspension. Yeah, we did reduce it. So, it's probably spread issue. The wheels. Because, like I said, he is wider than he is long. Will make turning a bit of a pain in the arse for him. Oh, what if? I don't know what to do that. It's not on the wheels. Could go that way. What about if we put the copy over there in case we smack this up? Oh yeah, we'll definitely have to redo a bit of this frame though. If I take these wheels out, I build them like that. That side, like that. That side. Like that. They are slightly more spread out. And I'm hoping if I angle the wheels a bit, I can get some ground clearance and a bit of a better spread on the wheels. So, steering angle, leave it 20 for now. Right. In fact, actually, the lazy way, we'll copy the wheel settings from here. That'll be front left. That's going to be rear left. They will be the other way around, won't they? So let's copy that. Paste that onto there, copy that, and paste that onto there. So, can I angle these wheels down to get a bit of clearance and also still have a decent amount of traction? Let's set that to 30. Oh, is that what those Discord notifications were? Yeah, I'll have a look at them in a bit, man. I was like going through all the stuff on Discord, seeing what crazy stuff other people are up to. So I'll do that with that, and have that as 30 degrees, and have that go the other way. And that could also be 30 degrees, and that would want to go that way. That is 30 degrees, and that would want to go that way, I think. Yeah. Okay, well I'll have to rebuild his drive controls, but we can at least check to see if he at least moves like this. Okay, you can turn better. Not getting an awful lot of traction though, is he? Is that because the wheels are on an angle, or is that because they're at 25%? Let's quickly... where are they? There you go, that'll do for now. Suspension. What if I put that back to 50? It's because the wheels are on an angle, isn't it? Wheels don't like being on angles. Ah. Because that ain't 5 meters a second. Max, that's a max, that's a max. There might be a steering angle issue. Wheels don't like working on weird angles. Oh, you struggle, don't you? You really do struggle. That's a pity. I was hoping that might be the answer. Looks like it's an accident. Increase your speed limit. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Maybe it was a speed limit thing. Ooh, he's much quicker now. Oh, there we go. Alright, give him 10. Oop, that's given him 100. That was not what I wanted. Okay, he's going a little bit mad now. Maybe it was a speed limit issue. There's a speed limit. Let's bring that right down. 10. Let's pull that back to something. What was it? Friction. Sensible. Speed limit. Let's make it 20. Well, there you go. Okay, there you go. That might actually work then. Ah! Oh yeah, I need to redo his wheel controls. Oh, yeah, he's okay. He is definitely connecting with the floor now. And he is definitely getting some speed. So if I bring the friction down a tad. Yeah, he dropped right down again then. 30 again. What does that play? That barely plays at all with 25% friction, doesn't it? Oh. Looks like you can get a bit of traction occasionally, but you have a few issues. Okay, maybe we'll set that back to default. It does seem to turn a little bit better. Put that back on max again. See what that's like. Okay, I think that one's the answer. That seems to be working fairly well. A few issues turning. That seems to work the best so far. Right, okay. We will try that then. So what did we do there? We need to make a new group for the suspension for a start. And if we just name it suspension, like we did with the last one, the sensors should just... Oh damn, we deleted the sensors because they were attached to the front of the wheels. Obviously. Right, let's rebuild them then. And of course they won't go onto the sides of those. Typical. Right, they can go there instead then. So we will copy that. Just onto there. Copy that. Paste it onto there, and then we will have to slightly adjust some of the settings because it's now about a block higher than I'd like it to be. So, sensors, top extent, bring that down by block, top, bottom, there we go. Right, so that's going to be 0.5. There you go. There you go, dude. I have confirmed. Finally, Steam decided to behave itself. Cool. Right, so... Right. What else did we do to those suspensions? We increased that to the absolute max, didn't we? So they should all be, yeah, like that. And we also set that back to 50% so it can get some grip. And I'm going to make it 20 meters a second. Have a height offset like that. I think that'll be alright for now then. So that'll be that. Ugh, now I have to rebuild those damn drive timers. Now they're just full of holes. And like I said before, I could just get it to repeat, trigger all once and repeat the cycle indefinitely. The only problem then is you end up with a conflict of both timers at once trying to do both things, so you then have to create a switch to turn one timer off and one timer on, and that ends up using at least a light and an event controller, which takes up more space. So I'm going to do it the long boring way to save on space. So increase, increase, increase. No, not steering angle, that's the wrong thing. Proportion, 1, 2, 3, 4. I would love it, absolutely love it, if Keen added the option to select multiple things in the taskbar and select a single command and it just dropped them all in. Like, if it's all the same type, like wheels, select all the wheels, choose a command, drops them all in. It's so much better than having to do it one by one by one. But unfortunately, this is the boring side of programming all these weird creations is you have to get them to be quite precise in what they do. Otherwise, you get weird conflicts or overlaps in commands that start doing strange things. Like the robot dogs, occasionally their walk cycle will get screwed up, and and their legs, their front and back legs will end up in sync with each other, so they start looking like they're doing a weird little skip. And if you stand in front of them and get them to reset their walk cycle again, it all goes back to normal. I'm not quite sure what's triggering the conflict in the first place, because I never actually see it happen. I just come across one of the robots and their legs are out of sync with each other. So that's forward. Let's get rid of all these. Right, there we go. So, let's reverse these. Propulsion, propulsion. Increase it a whole bunch of times. I'm hoping this little guy will work properly. It seems like the initial tests on this wheelbase aren't too bad. The problems will arise when we start adding more blocks and more mass. I haven't screwed any more of them, have I? No. Because the more mass you add, the more gyroscopes you need to move things. Ooh, wrong one. And gyroscopes in turn add more mass. It becomes a bit of a self-defeating cycle. And obviously more gyros need more power adds more mass, and it all just snowballs. So when you're building tiny things on this scale, you really do have to take mass and power and all that balancing into account. Particularly if you're doing it a vanilla way like I do. Because if you did it like with a script, all you can do is set up all the bits and pieces, one programmable block, bung in a script and off you go. Or maybe two if you need multiple scripts, but yeah, the script can handle a lot of stuff, whereas to do the same thing with event blocks and things and timers, you need to add quite a lot of them. So, let's set this back up again. So that will, when it detects me, reset the propulsion on the suspension, and when it stops detecting me, it will trigger the forward timer. And when that one detects me, it will trigger the reverse timer, and when it stops detecting me, it will reset the suspension. So now if I stick my face in here, it stops. If I stick my face in here, it reverses. Cool. Right, so let's give him a little try now that he should have properly set up. Controls. Take that off. Take that off. Take that off. Yeah. I was expecting to flip over. There we go, we're sort of gripping the floor. Not working as well as the other one was before. you go. That makes him stop. And that makes him reverse. That makes him drive forward. Those wheels are catching a little bit, aren't they? Let's have a look at your move block. That doesn't make a difference, but I will bump that up anyway, just in case. Task block, 5 meters. See, that's still... You know what, try and make them follow as closely as possibly. Okay. Alright, he's not too bad at turning when he's got quite a low follow distance. Get out of the way of the robot dog. Okay, right, suspension. Let's give you a bit more speed then. Let's see what happens when we give you 40 meters a second. Oop, and he's off. .40 meters a second, he kind of struggles to turn, even though he's not supposed to go more than 1 meter, 0 meters away from me. Your wheels are spinning out. Yeah, okay. Let's pull that back to default then. Too much power for your little wheels. No power. You don't go very quick at all. Yeah, it might just be another speed limit issue. He's just going too fast for his mass. You still struggle to turn a bit, and your wheel friction is catching a little, isn't it? What else can we do about that? Oh, hello, Gustavio the Great. Hey man, what's up? Yeah, right, so we bring that down a bit. Can you still turn and still get decent grip? Okay. 20. Come on, internet. There you go. There we go. Right. Stop there. Reverse. Maybe 25 is a little bit too low. Sometimes it grips, sometimes it doesn't. Okay. Right, we'll split the difference then. 35. Like. You still struggle. There's the wheel configuration, isn't it? Oh, I changed the wrong thing. I changed the speed limit. Not the wheel friction. Ow! The dog kicked me in the back of the head. Or, perhaps, let's mix this up. Maybe have full friction on the rear wheels. And the front ones we can turn down a bit. We run all the way over here. Come on. Yeah, the wheels definitely struggle when they're on an angle, don't they? Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. That's quite annoying. Really does struggle to turn. Put them in there. Got plenty of gyro. Who's about if we just slam even more gyroscopes on him? See what that does. Then it'll end up being a power issue probably. No, it's definitely an issue with the suspension. His ability to turn. Well, what do we do about that? Because we could. Now, I don't really want to use thrusters. This little dude move around. Becoming a possibility. Oh, in fact, I am going to have to add a single thruster anyway. That'll be why the AI is misbehaving, because AI blocks. From all of my testing, and as is the general consensus with quite a few other people I've spoken to about it, AI blocks get moody when they haven't got at least one thruster to control. And if you're gonna slam a thruster on a tiny mech, it's gonna be AI, you may as well put it on the back. Now, are you going to behave any better like that? Or are your wheels still catching? They're still catching quite a lot, aren't they? Because all that's the same as it was before, basically. Change much of that. Flight task block. Where are you going? Well, I'll give you more gyroscope and a little thruster. There you go, okay. Let's take the friction on these two down a bit then. Seeing as I'm going to have to use the thruster to move about a bit. I'll make that 25. Will you stop hitting the floor quite as badly? Yes, that's a little bit better. Oh yeah, and then that would have to turn off the rear thruster to stop it trying to push forward. Right, so you're turning way better like that. What happens if I take those two gyros back off? Because I don't want to completely overload you with gyroscopes, that's just ridiculous. Looks like you needed those two gyros. You don't have enough turn now, do you? No. Right. Okay. We have learnt a few things. We definitely need more gyro control, and we definitely need that little thruster on the back, and we need to change those front wheels to 25% friction. And that is getting us close to the idea that I had in my head. So I'll put them there and there, because I want to try and keep his mass balanced. Oh, sorry, I'll check that invite out in a bit, man. It's my insect connection for the walls again. Let's see. What your life out of these? Maybe so. Right, so what were we doing? We put them on there. We were gonna change that to 25% friction. Oh yeah, that's going to boost all the wheels up a little bit. 25. AI move block. Speed limits. Not 10 meters a second. Task block. Stick to me as closely as you can. Plenty of gyro power. Take it out. Take all that out. There you go, that's not too bad at all. That's not bad. I need notifications off my phone, because every time I get a notification on my phone, it is tagging my internet signal. Come on, internet connection. Take yourself. Thank you. Hopefully that sorts its life out now. Yeah, that thruster needs to get turned off. Is that thruster trying to push back against me? Yeah, that thruster's trying to push back against it. Yeah, right. So that needs to go off. With the drive reverse. Right, drive reverse. That needs to turn that thruster off, which means drive forward, we need to turn it back on again. That way, the move block will stop. Come on, internet connection, sort your life out. Your internet connection to use in this house is both of them shite. There we go. I hope the signal isn't too fucking horrible. Right, so that should now turn on and off that thruster. I move forwards and backwards, so that's that there. Let me get into position here. There we go. So when I do that, it turns it off. That's what stops it. There we go. Reverse mode turns it off. Forward mode turns it back on again. Cool. So, let's give that a try. Right, that internet signal seems to be working properly now. Hoping, for the love of God and the love of Clang, what OBS is telling me about my frame rate and my signal is actually correct and it is not stuttering all. This internet issue is driving me absolutely mad, if anyone can actually hear me. It is being a complete pain in the arse, and is refusing to connect properly. So I am going to go and make a brew. And I will leave you all with one of my giant bears for a minute, and hopefully when I come back my internet connection will have sorted itself out a little bit. So I will be back in 5 minutes. Right, I am back, and it looks like my internet connection might be behaving a little bit nicer now. Thank you very much. So, let's go back to what we were doing before. Building this strange little remote control car looking thing. Right, so what are we doing? We've got it driving, we've got it reversing. It's following us pretty well now. We set up the wheels, we set up the light block. Might let that go faster actually. Fancy block we don't really have to worry about right now. That's that, that's that. Okay, so this thing was working fairly well, wasn't it? Need to put all that out again. Yeah, he's not working too bad at all. Right, so, yeah, he's in a good place. Perhaps I could even put another little thruster on the back of him, maybe. Then again, that might... We need to see how that'll affect his power output, actually. So... How fast can you go right now, the way I've set you up? It seems to come to a complete stop. Perhaps you do need more than one thruster on the back. Right, let's have a quick little look. That. Ooh. So many wrong buttons. Ooh, off he goes. Oh no, it's turned into an absolute cluster of robots. Oh yeah, I'm going to need to turn that other thruster off as well, aren't I? Right. Well, for now, we'll leave it as is. We can add in another thruster when we need to. What do we want to do about the top half of him now? Because I've got no connection points here on any sides of these because of all the gyroscopes. So I'll need to put something in the middle, or stick a load of plating or armour blocks up the side to get any connection point above. Oh damn, I forgot to do something. I'll be back again in 2 seconds. I will just leave you there again for a minute. Sorry, back. Right, I'm back again. I've done all the things I forgot to do. Right, so where's the bear taking me? It's taking me all the way over here. Cool, right, so let's have a good think about what we want to do with the top half of this thing. I want it to at least be able to shoot things. So it needs to have at least one turret controller. I want to build a little custom turret onto him. We need to at least have one. But would I prefer him to have like a little set of arms or something? Might have to build him out a little bit, so we keep going up. He's going to end up very tall and very top heavy. And he's currently 3 blocks long, 2 blocks wide. And if I have two turret controllers on top of him, like that, then he's quite tall. And, yeah, because he's so small, I end up needing to fill up both the weapons manually rather than have a conveyor port, because I'm not getting a conveyor connection in this thing, I don't think. It's going to be too little. So, yeah, maybe we could have 2 turret controllers and some rotors, like some little arms. We don't really need to use the advanced ones because we're not going to have any conveyor connection here. We're going to have to feed the ammo directly into the weapons. And we have that. And then now we'll just let's take a couple of the old standard ones. Oh, hang on. I have put those hinges on the wrong way. Yeah, but then these arms are going to stick out miles and miles and miles. Could we do it in a different way? If I put the guns on the end of here now, that sticks out loads. It does stick out a little bit more than I'd like. Maybe I might not give him elbows. Might just slap the gun on the side like that for now to keep him a bit smaller. If I do put those on, like that would be down there like so. that would be on there, like so. But all that elbow really does is that doesn't really make a great deal of difference to its ability to aim. But it does also look better. So you know what, I might just throw in the pointless hinge. Just to give his arm a little bit more articulation, even though it's not actually going to do much in terms of aiming ability. That could be maximum 90, minimum 45, so it doesn't lift all the way up. Just do that. I'll give it a little bit of that. Show inertia tensor because it's the end one and it will help. And then the little elbow. What can we do with the little elbow? The shoulder rather. Give him maximum of say 45. A minimum of minus 10. That's some RPM, so we can aim up there. And aim down there, but not too low. Maybe minus 15. Well, hello, Brad. Is that Kraus or Kraus? I'm not quite sure. Crab's move sideways allowed you to build symmetrically front and back. I've not built a crab before. I've built some kind of crabby looking things. This thing, I'm not even really sure what I'm building. I've just had a vague idea of a strange little mech in my head that has wheels and kind of looks like somewhere between a R2 unit and a hunter-killer from Terminator. Kraus, is that the one? Sound. I always rather ask than say somebody's name wrong. I myself have a name that is complicated to pronounce sometimes. I've seen it spelled 1,000 different ways. So that can be rotor, left shoulder. That can be arm, left shoulder. And we can copy that to there. That's what I want. That'll be exactly the same as the other side. And that was what? 45 and minus 15. So the rotor is the other way round, so that will have to be minus 45 and 15. There we go, so that can be that. And lift up like so. Who's clanging? Yeah, whatever. Oh, mosquito. Yeah, that's what I thought, like the little bug-looking things. And they've all got a little set of guns on their face, so I've just named them that. I'm planning to publish them at some point very soon. So they'll be up on Mod.io and Steam soon enough. So that can be arm, rotor, right shoulder. Oh, hello, Jonah Mino. That's it. What's your idea, man? I'm always up for ideas. I've actually done quite a few stupid ideas based on viewer input in the past, just because why not? So that can be 400,000. Let's do that for now. Right, so let's set up that gun, L01. Set up that gun, R01. Start thinking about blah blah blah. A drone flying which stays at distance and blocks enemy ships. Oh, so you have like a floating shield in front of you, kind of thing. That would be possible. You might tank your sim speed, unless you got a decent computer, because you can. If you use a GPS recorder block, hang on. GPS recorder task. Now these blocks, you can set them up to use a reference point, and then you can set a waypoint from the reference point for the drone, and the drone will try and always stay at that point relative to the beacon. And it does work pretty well, because I've done stuff like that in the past. The only issue you will encounter trying to do that with multiple drones is the processing that the game uses in the background, so that each drone can maintain that position. That will absolutely tank your sim speed. Unfortunately, but you could probably get away with doing the same idea with slightly larger drones rather than having lots and lots and lots of little ones, because I've experimented that in the past, having like gangs of drones following each other. Like, these bigger ones have got beacons on them that I can use to get the others to follow them, and when I do that, it's fine by itself. But as soon as other things start going on in the game, the sim speed starts getting a bit crazy, because you've got multiple grids trying to calculate speed, distance, and all that kind of stuff on another moving grid, and it goes a bit mad. But another way around that is you can set your drones to follow you specifically and set a follow distance, because the game doesn't seem to require as many background resources following the player as it does trying to get a grid to follow another grid. Because again, I've had that issue with these when I tried to get them to all follow. I'd like set them up to all follow one of the manual controlled ones, and it would tank the sim speed. Whereas if I set them all to follow me and drove it, it wasn't nearly as bad. So I'm not sure what the difference is in the background stuff that the game's doing for following players and following other grids, but for other grids it can get really resource heavy. But it is entirely possible. You just need to have a real fat CPU in your computer. Because this game, as primitive as it looks compared to a lot of stuff, there's so much going on in the background. There's an awful lot of physics calculations going on. Yeah, it's probably something like that, Brad. Yeah, my computer's like half decent. It's not the best, it's not the worst. And I've had to stick the graphic settings on the absolute lowest with just a little bit of grass showing for this save file, because there's so many moving parts that are all doing stuff, and yeah, the more moving parts you have in your game, the the laggier it gets. What's likely? Could you layer them, as in have one AI block follow and another to face the enemy? Yeah, you could easily do that. You could say have half of them defensive following you and the other half waiting for an enemy to attack, and go off and do that. Because the AI blocks, if you've got, say, that's got a task block that's getting it to follow a route, and it's also got an offensive block in there that is also active. When an enemy is detected, the AI from the offensive block will take over and go after the bad guy, even if they're both switched on, like AI on enabled. And as soon as the bad guy is dealt with, the offensive block will settle down and the guard block will kick back in. For example, if I take, in fact actually, if I just take this bear here, because he's static, I don't have to mess around with him too much. What are you doing? Physics being stupid. So for example, if I take this bear right next to me, and I select all his bits, and turn him into a bad guy, everybody will start kicking off once they detect him. And once the AI blocks kick in, you see some of them are already going for it. And a lot of them have all broken their routines and they've come over to attack him. Here come all the dogs, here come all the mosquitoes, they're all doing their little paths and their little flying routines. They're all trying to stay at distance and intercept and whatever other thing I've given them. Yep, see, they're all coming in, they're all trying to attack. And as soon as I get rid of him, they will all settle down and they will all go back to their pre-programmed routes. And nothing is switched on or off, it's just AI priorities. The offensive block takes priority over pretty much everything. And once the enemy once the enemy presence is no longer there, the task block, if it's running, will go back to its priority. They do the same thing if they were all set to follow me. They would all run off, go deal with the bad guy if they've got an offensive block. And once that threat is dealt with, they'll all go back to their routine. So you could build a shield, technically, with something like that. You could have a load of drones set to follow and just float around you. And you could set some of them up with AI blocks, offensive AI blocks. And those ones could go off and fight things, the other ones could stay by you and protect you. And then when the bad guy is gone, the offensive ones will come back to you. The only thing with having them just set to follow is you would have to stagger their distances a little bit, because you have them all set to follow at, say, 20 meters. They will most likely all try and occupy the same location behind you at 20 meters. Which might be a bit of a problem. But there's always ways around it. So, back to this. I'll probably do about another hour of this stream before I bugger off. Ultimately, just a drone that can deploy that goes to block enemy fire from main ship. Yeah, it's perfectly possible. Yeah, I discovered the priority thing with the AI drones not long ago. With the AI blocks. It's like all of these ones, they're all really basic. They've only got a task block, flight block, and an offensive block in them. I really wish that Keen would add a setup actions function to the offensive blocks, because the defensive blocks have an extra function that the offensive ones don't. They have this set up actions button. So when they detect an enemy, you can trigger something, and when they stop detecting an enemy, you can trigger something else. So you can effectively use a defensive block as like an AI warning system. So you can set it up to do absolutely nothing at all. Don't change any of this stuff, but literally just have the AI switched on and set up the actions. And you could get that to trigger like sirens, warning lights, weapons, AI systems, whatever you like, when it detects an enemy. And when that threat disappears, it will reset back to normal. The only problem is, with the AI priorities, is when the combat block detects something, it will turn off the AI on the defensive block. And that means when that enemy disappears, there's no AI to detect that something has disappeared to trigger that second action, which is really annoying if you're trying to use both of them together. And I really wish that Keen would add that same feature to the offensive blocks. Then you could have them turn each other on and off to like activate and deactivate like full defense systems. And I've tried to figure out workarounds, but it's just not been great. But there's all sorts of mad things that you can do with the AI blocks and event controllers and stuff like that. But anyway, we were trying to mess around with this little drone, so I'm going to slap some upside down cameras on there because I don't actually intend to use them, but it helps the guns with targeting references from all of my experimenting. So we'll call that camera L01, call that camera R01. Yes, exactly, John. That's what I've done with a few things. A few mechs is use that set of actions to trigger stuff happening, like weapons deploying or other AI blocks activating and stuff like that. Like I said, with those blocks, the only issue is, right, if I set this up, defensive block, AI on, set up actions. So you can have that set up to trigger the AI on this one, because if you have both the offensive and defensive AI blocks on at the same time, the offensive one will just take priority every single time, and the defensive block won't really do an awful lot. So what I've tried experimenting with is having the AI block set to turn on have the defensive block set to turn on the AI on the combat block when it detects an enemy. The only problem is you can't do the same thing in reverse to put it back the other way. Take that. Take that. All of them. Make it bad guy. Everyone will kick off. There you go, you see that block's just triggered then, which has turned on the AI on this block. But as you can see, turning the AI on that one turns the AI off here. And without the same feature on this one to trigger actions when it stops detecting an enemy, there is currently no way of switching that back that I can figure out anyway. And I'll get rid of him. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, because I can turn that on and turn that off. And as soon as I turn that back on, you notice there's no bad guy, and it's automatically turned that back off for me. Right, drop bad guy back in again. And jump back in here. The defensive block has been turned off by the offensive block turning on. And that is the one thing about the AI priorities that really winds me up. Because all they need to do is add that button to this block. Problem solved. And there are a few. There's at least one. Would you timer the turning off of the offensive AI and re-enabling the defensive? There is an enemy. I have experimented with that, and it does kind of work. All it means is every 10, 20, 30 seconds, whatever you're doing, you are interrupting the AI offensive block's targeting, and it will turn it off, turn it back on again, and then the AI offensive block has to go through its whole cycle of acquiring a target again, which will be determined by whatever its targeting settings are set up to. So it does work, but it just means that you're interrupting your drone and making it go wander off every 30 seconds. And it takes however long to go back to what it was doing. And yeah, like I said, I've experimented with that. It does kind of work, but it makes for a useless combat drone, because the combat drone just wanders off every couple of seconds when that timer triggers, and then it has to just do the whole thing over again. So it does kind of work. It doesn't quite. It would be much easier if Keen would just add that setup actions function to the offensive block. And there's a couple of support threads for it, at least one that I've signed along with a few other people on the Keen support forums. I'm really hoping they'll get around to adding it eventually. Again, I've tried this. Trying to get something else to figure it out. The only other thing I haven't really tried but have thought of is seeing what happens if I put the defensive block on a subgrid and seeing if that has any effect. But somehow I don't think it will. Yeah, like I said, it works in theory, but it's just not efficient for a combat drone, because it just interrupts them fighting. Like, they'll be in the middle of combat and then just wander off because they go, oh, time to reset, and they'll toddle off and go do whatever in the meantime, and then go, oh shit, I was fighting that thing over there, wasn't I? And come back again. And it makes for entertaining fights, but they're kind of comedic and pointless and don't really go anywhere very quickly. So let's settle the arms. I also need to name these turret controllers. That can be control units. And that one can be control unit R01. Yeah, in fact, let's see what happens if I bung that on subgrid on that rotor. Defensive block. Defensive block. For you, when you detect an enemy, to trigger the AI on that and turn it off and stop detecting an enemy. Will you make a difference on a subgrid? Hang on, let's just make sure that is off to begin with. It is off. let's turn that on. And that is still running. Get rid of him. Ah, crap, I've just deleted the base. Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'll come back to that in a second. That's the problem with using creative tools. Sometimes you get a little bit excited and delete the wrong thing. Or slightly pointing at the wrong thing. That was stupid. Huh. Oh well. We'll retry that. It was looking promising though. Oh, come on. Oh no, it'll be fine. I have my game set up to do like 10 backups like every 5 minutes, so it's fine. The only thing that ever happens is I have to slightly redo something. I might lose 5 minutes worth of work here or there, but whatever. So, okay, let's try that again quickly. Because that was actually... Oop, looking promising. Oop, some of the drones are smacking into each other. Need to really work out some of that routing a bit better. So let's try that again, because that was actually looking promising before I removed the base like an idiot. Defensive block. AI behavior on. Setup actions. So we were going to have that turn on and that turn off. That is currently set on, so let's turn it off. Oh, it's not even lost progress. I think I've spent like the last half hour waffling about how the AI blocks work, so the last thing I did was build those cameras. The only thing I have to do is rename those controllers. That's absolutely fine. I didn't lose anything at all, really. So, we'll copy one of them. That was set off. That was set on, and we set up those actions to do that. You get to be bad guy now, temporarily. So, while they're all having a party, blowing stuff up. Right, the offensive block has turned on, but the defensive block has not. It is still on. And it is locked onto that small grid. So now, we'll delete this without deleting the base. Like an idiot. The defensive block is still on, and the offensive block has turned off. Ooh. That looks like that might actually work, mate. Because we could have... yeah, that looks like it actually works. Hang on, let me just quickly take that off, because now I've got a stupid idea. I want to see if it works real quick. Might be that. Might be that. And then do warning light. Wrong button. So we can take that AI block, defensive one, instead of that. Trigger combat on. Combat off. And combat on would turn the AI on that on and turn that light on. And start making those guns shoot. Just for a laugh. Combat off would turn the AI block back off. Turn that light back off and it can make you shooting stop. That was the wrong thing. I want to do that. And then, oh crap, if I put those cameras there, there is no way to get any ammo in the gun that I've just deleted by mistake. Well done. Pop a bit of ammo in there. Pop a bit of ammo in there. I'll have to redo that gun. Copy or copy paste. R01. Combat on. Where's that other gun? Redo them. So that would be shoot on and shoot on, just for the purposes of this little test. And then that could be shoot off and that could be shoot off. Let's turn that light off. That's off like it should be. That's on like it should be. That's going to trigger those two blocks. They're both switched on. There you go, let's turn the light on and trigger that timer and make the gun start shooting. There you go, that idea actually works. I've been thinking about that for a while, but I wasn't sure whether the split in between the subgrids would actually affect the AI priority, but it absolutely does apparently. So there you go. If you would like to make a defensive system that can turn itself on and off, just stick an AI defensive block on a subgrid and get it to activate and deactivate the things you want it to do. Yes, that is awesome, isn't it, Jonah? Like I said, that's something I've been thinking about for a while but never actually got round to testing. That is bloody marvellous, and I think in the future you'll see a lot more of my mechs with random subgrids hanging off them with a defensive block, and I'll have to try and figure out a way of making that look pretty, but that is an idea I'm keeping in the bank for later. So I'm glad somebody actually prompted me to get around and testing that, because that works a hell of a lot better than I thought it would. To be honest, I don't do enough shorts, Brad. I might actually do that later. I might go back and clip that from here. But that is interesting to know. It's definitely interesting to know. Defensive block tails, quite possibly. Oh, bipolar, we discussed the timer idea, and the timer does kind of work, but it's... I think that is probably the best way of doing it. Because you can squeeze these down quite low. Ooh. There you go. You are going to have some issues trying to box that in though if you want to do that internally. You can get some blocks on it, but not all of them because of the collisions of that. But if you bumped it all the way up, you could box in like so, And then you can bring it down. And then, so obviously it's going to cause collision issues again at the top, but you can at least try and make it level. Let's box it in with armour. There's that rotor. There it is. There you go, you can get that pretty close. Pretty seamless. Right, okay. That's an interesting idea, and I might end up trying to incorporate that into this guy at some point. But now we can actually sort these out. So control unit arm LS for left shoulder, seeing as we're only doing a shoulder on this one. And RS, so then we've got well, the azimuth will be the hinge, won't it? Elevation, rotor, camera, none, because we need access. Or the conveyor port, because we're making this dude tiny, so I'll just slap it on the side, just so the gun has a better targeting reference. The cameras actually do make a little bit of a difference, I've noticed. Camera, arm. Oh god, yeah, you could absolutely do that. Replace all of that with functional stuff, and do whatever you wanted with it. That was just a little test to see how well you could arm it up and block things in. Right, so we've got camera. And then camera. Yeah, right, so right, so we've got that, and then we've got camera LS. You know, easy to do from the control seat. Unit arm LS gun camera AI enabled. I'll turn all that off for now. Turn that on so I can test it aiming around. So that's going to be real weird because the camera's sideways, but that is the wrong way around. That is the right way around. So make that -10. Just make that 10 now. Bum 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 bum. So we'll make that one. Oh, hello, Game Shores. How you doing, man? So we were azimuth. Dump was going to be right hinge, even though it's not really doing an awful lot. Can't mount it the way I want. And then that would be the rotor, the elevation, that would be the camera, the gun, that would be the gun itself, that would be on, that would be off, leave that on, and test it aiming at me in a second, up and down and right way around, left and right are the wrong way around. Azimuth can be -10, elevation must be 10. Yeah, that'll do. Right. Yeah, so those guns can only really do forward, up and down. Otherwise, they'd be sticking out even further. Or we could try a slightly different configuration. To get a bit more articulation out of them, turn AI off. Copy and paste one just in case. So we could even try to build these arms entirely out of rotors. Probably arm off a bit. That's up now. Oop. There we go, that's about 0. So we could have that, say, like that. 0 pointing forward. Makes things a little bit easier to keep track of. And we don't actually need a conveyor connector really. We can just pop the gun in there, have them sideways, like that. We could even do something, possibly a little bit weird. What would it be like if I put the camera on top of that rotor? I want this to have a bit of shear inertia tensor. Oop, that's way too much braking torque. There we go, that's a little bit more sensible. And then we could make the limits. For now, we'll just do -10 and -10. 10 and -10, sorry. That's not very far at all, is it? Let's give it 20. 20 and -20. Oh, you also made the Wall-E droid. I've never actually seen that film. I've seen lots and lots and lots of clips from it, but I never actually got around to watching it. That could be arm rotor. Call that LE for the elbow so we don't get confused with the shoulder. Oop, that was me smacking the microphone stand with my cup of tea. Yeah, so we do that like that. Let's see what that looks like if we set the azimuth to that rotor. Didn't name the camera, so I don't know what I'm choosing. Camera L01. I'll try that for now. Doing unit left shoulder. Might as well just make it left arm now. Top camera. Got to name the guns, that's helpful. Left, right. Oh, already got a gun and sign, idiot. Well, that might be left over from the last one, so let's reassign that. Control Oh yeah, the only issue is I can't actually see my gun from up this high. That's a bit lame. So, that ain't gonna work. What does it look like if we put the camera there? Units left shoulder. Let's try that camera. Still can't see the gun. That's a shame. Really? Well, to be honest, I don't intend to be using it myself that much. It's only for the arms targeting itself, so I'm going to pull that camera back up there because I like the way it looked. Let's copy those settings and stick that on that one. That's going to be R01. Dun, 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 dun. That arm rotor will basically be exactly the same, so we can just copy and paste those settings and rename it. We'll give that some of that. It looks like some of my prototypes are getting in the way of the bear and some of the other drones, but they can walk around. So let's put a bit of that on there, reverse that. Yeah, cool. Anyone else getting the vibes of those weird TV robots from Fallout New Vegas? I'm starting to. It's how broad its shoulders are. Right, unit. Let's actually just set up the controls and make sure they're the right way around. Right, well there you go. Azimuth. Yeah, azimuth is the wrong way around. Left and right, up and down. That's the one. I can hear the gun trying to fire. Cool. So, right shoulder. Azimuth. RE rotor. Camera right. Gun. I'm going to get rid of that because I think that's the bug. The old one left over. Roll. Oh yeah. Drop into spectator mode instead, make it easier. Left and right, or left and right, up and down, is up and down. That's fine. Do you think I need to reset the camera on the left one? Yes I do. There we go. Cool. Right, so let's turn AI on those back on. There we go, I can aim at me a bit better. Might increase the velocity of them actually. And a bit more speed. In fact, we might double it. They can aim nice and quick. Right, let's give him a little test drive. a bit slower now because of all that extra weight I've added on. Because turret controllers weigh 250 kilos, and the guns weigh quite a bit, and hinges and rotors are surprisingly heavy as well. Yeah, I might need to add the second thruster on to give them a little push, but yeah, it's kind of working the way I hoped. You can drive around and you can follow things. It's got some little AI arms to target stuff. If he gets too close to stuff, you can just about reverse. Whether that's going to become an issue now with his tiny little wheels. Because he's struggling to pick up speed, isn't he? To set to. I don't know. A bit of speed. I'm struggling a little bit there. And basically, stop. That's useful. What are you doing? Is that little thruster on your back just not enough? It's not even doing anything. Oh, is it potentially a power issue? But not really doing much. Power issue? Is it just space engineers being stupid issue? Where's he gone? You're not doing an awful lot with that little thruster, are you? See what's going on with you. Where is that? Just bomb one of them on you for now. I'll just call you a little drone so I can find you. There we go. Control. Okay. Yeah, a bit of distance from it. There we go. Right. You are using a little bit of power. You're not using an awful lot, are you? Not a lot at all. Nothing's on, nothing's off. Oh, you decided to take off over there. Very strange thing. Crank your speed limit up. Where's that? Oh, there you go. See the thruster firing there. now doing about 3 seconds. Your suspension. Is your suspension fighting that? If I increase that to 50, what difference does that make? Your overall speed. Ooh, it's definitely made a difference. Okay. There is some little fight going on between the wheels and the thruster, I think. Come on, you got 4 gyroscopes, you can tip yourself back over. Come on. Come on. Nope. You're dumb. Fine. Interesting. Yeah, he's quite adorable, isn't he? Ball type droid uses gyros to roll. You could do. Possibly. Because I have built control systems for mechs, like balance systems that rely on gyroscopes mounted to rotors on different angles, and then use thruster setups to control the directions of them. But you could, in theory, make a rolling ball sort of thing. It'd have to have sensors that trigger gyro override, I think. That might be an idea to try and experiment with at some point. Seems to have a few issues slowing down randomly. Yeah, I think it might just be down to the old suspensions and friction. So the friction mechanics are strange. They don't really seem to be... I'm not quite sure how they work, but increasing and decreasing the friction doesn't really adjust the friction so much as it increases and increases the chance of the wheels catching, if you know what I mean. It's a strange one. I don't really want to bump that up anymore because that started getting ridiculous. But because the angle is wheels, they're not really catching on the ground properly. He is kind of quick when he wants to be. Let's take control of it. My turn is a high blocked off. So that I'm now in control. I can turn that pretty damn well. Ooh, Jesus, yeah, he's got plenty of gyro control. all the wheels are set on, so they are constantly driving, turning, and driving forward. Then moving forward on the thruster, just giving it a decent little bit. Take these back off because they're not actually intended to be part of the design. Oh, that might be an issue. The power consumption. Ooh. Actually, I think maybe he's so small that we share an inertia tensor on his arms. He's actually having an effect on his ability to move around. So those arms wiggling seem to make it do stuff. That's me manually controlling it without actually touching the thruster. That's just the wheels that I set up, driving it around at that speed, which seems to be a bit too much. So let's bring that back down. Ah, there he is. There's the thruster. Ooh. Yeah. And a little bit top heavy. Oh well. Right, AI, let's turn that back on. The issue is not with how well you turn, it's with how much... yeah, I reckon that's the problem. I've noticed another thing with AI blocks is they are not keen on using their full power capacity. They will get moody. So I might need to add more power to him. Why is he sitting above there? Why are you messing about over there? Follow me. You're getting confused about how to get to me? Probably. Yeah, he slowed right down there. I don't know why. Now it's picked up speed again. Oh, option 5 or option 1 thing. Yeah. That one. Back to 0. You're not using that thruster at all, are you? You just need a little bit more power. Come on. Oh, hello, Jay the Ostrich. Sorry, I didn't see your message there. Yeah, it's sort of like Johnny 5, I suppose. He's picking up a little bit of power, a little bit of speed. Let's also try. A bit of a fine balance with the AI mechs, well, with the AI blocks, and the bits they need to move a certain amount of mass. If they haven't got enough mass, they won't. They haven't got enough thrust. They won't bother half the time. I've noticed. They don't have enough power to power the things they need to do to move that mass. They won't bother either. Consistently working a little bit better now. You don't look like you're firing those thrusters at all, though. Oh, I can hear them. Definitely use it. Power current usage 2 watts. 2 watts, okay. I'm using it a little bit. What are you doing, Superbot? Now, I wonder if it might be. It might have gone on one house. I think the actual move one is too close to the floor. It's difficult to use. Figuring out what the hell it's meant to be doing. Let's slap different move block on top. That's fine. That's straight for me. Nom. Very, very slowly. Oh, it's because I've been able to take off stuff. Oh. You're still not moving as fast as I would like you to. Just have a look. Follow distance 0. That is on. That is off. That is the one that we're playing with. You've got 25 meters a second speed limit. Why are you not going faster than that? Yeah, maybe that's the maximum speed we're going to get out of him at the moment. Might potentially be issue with the suspension fighting the thrusters. Take that all the way out. Right, get off each other. You can even attempt to run around and follow me. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're definitely projecting yourself forwards. Just let me control it. Yeah, I think it's a thrust versus mass issue. I don't think 2 little thrusters are quite enough. I don't think 4 little wheels are quite enough. For the amount of mass this dude has here. I think that's the bigger issue overall. You either need more wheels or more thrusters. I think, yeah, that's about the max we're going to get out of him with his current setup. Either that, or space engineers have just been stupid and messing with me. It does do that occasionally. You're not bad at turning now. You can move forward, just not very consistently. Not particularly quickly. Hang on. So what would happen is I'll put up a few more on the back of him. Other than completely defeat half the object of building this little mech. Yeah, it was a mass versus thrust issue. He's just too heavy for the size that he is. Is now sticking 4 thrusters on the back of him. He is going significantly faster. Fast enough for the friction to catch on the ground and make him kick up into the air. Yeah, so that's the problem. Because yeah, it's surprising how much something this small actually weighs and how much momentum they need to move. That does seem to be the answer to that speed problem, is just not enough thrust. Which is annoying, because I was hoping to make him specifically wheel powered, but the angle of those wheels is a bit funky, and yeah, sod it, we'll just do it the way we've done it now. The only other option is taking out those, putting in more wheels, making them centered, and I don't want to do that, so let's just add a few more thrusters and maybe another battery. We can have that as the back end of it. No what? Where else can I move a reactor? I want to try and keep it balanced. I could do bigger wheels, but I wanted to try and use the little ones, because bigger wheels wouldn't look as good. So I'm going to stick with these little ones for now. Adding another set in the middle would probably add more traction, but it would also affect the turning. So yeah, I'm going to stick with the 4 wheels for now. And all those gyros. I might actually move the reactor to near the back. Put a second battery in. Just going to need it. Because I also want to have some kind of relay control so that I can arm him and disarm him automatically. And I might end up just cutting those screens. So, I want a relay so that I can trigger him remotely. I need another reactor to power him. I always like to put a reactor on my mech. And so we've got a battery, we've got a battery. Let's turn that off for a second. So that's using 70% of power at full blast. Hey, should be alright, hopefully. Turn that back on. There you go, you can see it firing all of them. As it's trying to follow me. Good. I'll do anything radio controlled with it. We need an antenna. I I'll just tuck one in like that for now. Try and kind of keep them a little bit square, a little bit uniform. Yeah, we put that in there, we did that, we did that, we did that. Let's give him a little test. Oh, hang on. There's a few things I want to change first. That'll be fine. Meters a second, that's fine. 50 meters a second is quite fast. So that might actually be alright. Task block, follow me at that range. Yeah, okay, maybe I didn't need to change anything. Oh, copied the wrong thing. Nearly copied and pasted the entire base. Right, there we go, he's much quicker. That's much more like what I wanted. Oh, yeah, obviously I need to set those thrusters to stop when he gets too close. Yeah, cool. Right, let's just change that quickly. Drive controls. Oop. So when we drive forward, we want to... Let's take that out. Where are we? Number one. Thrusters. So let's have them all turn on when it drives forward. Give it that little boost it needs. And have them turn off when it tries to reverse away from things that get in its way. There you go, so the wheels have got just enough friction to make them back away without having to add thrusters on the front, and the thrusters give him all the little extra boost he needs to hit a decent amount of speed. Just looking painfully slow. No, you're going pretty quick. I do still think our move block is a little bit low. It's trying to look for a location that's... No, it should be alright actually. Right, well he's kind of working how I'd like it to be. Reminds you of a Dalek from Doctor Who. You could easily chop the arms off and stick a sticking a single turret on a 2-block wide thing would be a bit awkward, but yeah, you could easily make something like this that's 3 blocks wide and has a single turret on top. I was half considering doing something like that, but I thought I'd try and make it even smaller and make it 2 blocks wide. But yeah, you could easily do something like this to make a Dalek. I might actually do that at some point. Right, so that's like a little Johnny 5-ish robot thing. That can turn and follow me. and it's half decent at aiming. The wheels do struggle a little bit because of the angle they're on. Oop, and you're a bit bouncy now. Might need to take some of the friction out of your back wheels. There we are. Let's bring them down to 25% as well. See if you're not a little less bouncy. Yeah, that's made it a little less bouncy. The friction on the wheels was snagging the voxels slightly. The only problem is though, 25% friction on voxels is different to 25% friction on blocks. It's a lot slippier on blocks. Oh, he managed to get up though, but yeah, you'll see as he... Come on, come over here. Yeah. Yeah. He slides nicely on the voxels, but that speed turning on blocks was a bit weird. Oop. Yeah. Can you correct yourself? Oh, you can just about. That was very good of you. The way to limit the thruster speed really is to just behave yourself. The best way of adjusting the thruster speed with the AR blocks is just to change the speed limit with the move block. But it will also factor in power consumption and distance to target. The further something is away, the faster the AI blocks will push. But it will also fight against the friction of those wheels a little bit, which can be a bit of a problem. And it'll also occasionally do weird stuff, like for some reason it's decided to turn around because I've gotten a little bit high off the ground and it doesn't seem to be able to work out how to get to me properly. But if I completely take the suspension off, the friction off the suspension, he will just slide around now at max speed and pretty much just orbit me now. As he's trying to get towards me and pushing past me. And yeah, you can see with zero friction on the wheels, he can accelerate quite a bit. Occasionally I'll get confused. Yeah, I think that is an issue to do with the move block. I think it's too low down. So I've had this problem before, making mechs that are really small and having the move block really close to the ground. It seems to struggle figuring out locations if it's too low. When I drop back down to the ground, he's not too bad now. He's staying locked on me, but he's doing orbits because of his suspension. Well, we put that back to 25. You can do 6, 7 meters a second. There's a lot of variables that go into it when you're making mechs this size, and a lot of the time, half the problem is just space engineers being space engineers and not working properly. Or bugging out because there's too many other things going on. But he seems to be working kind of how I wanted him to now. He's quick enough to keep up with me and chase me fairly well. Start sprinting, he can't quite keep up. Oh, sorry, what's that? 2 is too little, 4 is maybe too much. Yeah, it's like I said, it's a bit of a balancing act when you're doing stuff on this scale. Like 4 might be too much. Because like with these bears, for example, the AI gets a bit moody if it's got less than 6 thrusters on something this size. Because I did a lot of testing with the bear. But as a player controlling it, if you hit the forward button at full throttle with 6 thrusters, it'll make it fly forwards. So I've been working on a way of setting it up so that the AI can control 6 thrusters and you control just 4. And 4 seems a good balance for the size of it. Like, it's a balancing act with these kind of things. There's no one uniform way of doing it. There's a lot of rules you can play with and ideas you can play with, but yeah, at the end of the day, there's a lot of funny little things that go into it. Well, he seems to be working pretty well now for what I wanted him to do. So at some point I am going to have to figure out how to armour him up and make him look a little cooler. But yeah, I reckon this version we've got now is probably the best of the versions that we've made. Add a little bit of armour, a camera, and a few other bits. And then figure out some... Yeah, it's just... I'm not entirely sure on all the things that go into how the AI blocks do stuff. I've only sort of got a few theories and a bit of my own kind of experimenting to go off. Because the... Oh, you crashed again, you idiot. You can stay there. Because the pigs only need 2. And they're about the same size as him. But, likewise, The walkers only need 2. They're quite happy plodding along. But they've also got a decent walk cycle as well, which helps. They've got a half reasonable walk cycle, but as far as the AI is concerned, it's quite happy to have the 2 and use them as needed. You can see it firing there when it needs to move. And they're considerably larger. They're like, these guys are like 18, 20 tons each. Yeah, I need to make some collision avoidance stuff with the little droid. Yeah, and also, this guy only needs 4. And he'll burn them on and off quite consistently, but he only wants 4 and he's quite happy. And he's got the same amount of thrusters as this little one, and this little one's fussy as hell. So I'm not entirely sure what the problems are. Again, I think part of the issue might be the move block is so close to the floor that it's getting confused. If I move it up a bit, it might track a little better. But that'll be something to experiment and play around with next time, because that's been nearly 3.5 hours and it's nearly midnight where I am. So I'm gonna pack this stream in and go to bed. You? What are you doing? There you are. You don't. Ah, can you save yourself? Oh, you've stuck now. Are you stuck being foolish and being upside down? There you go. Yeah, balancing also comes into this game quite considerably as well. Centre of mass is quite important when you're playing with things. Obviously his centre of mass is, as you can see, slightly over the halfway point. Probably because he's got these big arms on top, so his pivoting point is bang in the centre there, or just slightly above centre, which will make him slightly top heavy. When he does sharp turns, he's likely to try and spin over. And he's just going to fight with that bear and get in the way of it, isn't he? Alright, come on, we'll move the bear out of the way. Yeah, he's not working too bad. Working pretty well for a little prototype. I mean, I have made mechs that work in this same way before, but they've been considerably larger, have more wheels, have more traction, and don't need any thrusters to work. I think there's a lot of traction issues going in because of the way I've positioned the wheels. But without making them longer, a block longer in either direction, not much you can really do with that wheel design. This guy, to be honest, is just an experiment at the moment, so he can change in any way, shape or form. If I do move the arms a block lower, they are at risk of smacking the floor, which is the only problem. Ultimately, the best bet is probably to make him a block wider and make him 3 blocks wide rather than 2, because then he'll be wider and his mass will be spread out a little bit better. And that way you could get like a little R2 type head on the top of it maybe, and it's 3 blocks wide. But like I said, this dude's just a little prototype for making tiny, like little tank drone kind of thing. but he's working pretty well so far. And he can reverse away from me, he can follow me, and he can turn. The wheels actually grip the floor in reverse. But yeah, right. I'm going to leave that one there. So, get out of the way. What are you doing? Back up, do some personal space. Thank you. Right. So, I'm going to leave that one there. And I'll come back to this next time. So, cheers guys for watching and chatting. And I'll be back with some more mech nonsense soon. And at some point, probably tomorrow, I'm going to try and get some more work done on some of these things and get them published so you guys can play with them. I know some people have asked me about the drones, so I'm going to try and get the flying things finished next and have them up. And then the bear and the bug, wherever it is, the arachnid thing, they still need a bit more work, so I'll publish them at some point in the near future. Oh, there's the arachnid appearing in the background behind the building. Yeah, cheers guys, cheers Brad, cheers Donna, sorry, and cheers Bipolar, and cheers everyone else that dropped in. I'll see you all next time, so cheers guys, goodbye for now.